Hey there, teenage adventurers and adults who have so gracefully navigated these turbulent years. Today, we embark on a journey through the fascinating and often bewildering world of teenagehood. An experience that's some part soap opera, some part personal evolution, and some part epic adventure. Welcome to Teenage Trails, the evolution of self discovery. Hop on to the roller coaster. You're extremely excited as you hop on. But as the winch to descent begins, you're immediately stricken with anticipatory fear. Adolescence is such a time of exhilarating highs and daunting lows. One minute, you're on top of the world because your crush finally noticed you. But the next, you're filled with overwhelming doubts and fears about the future. What are you going to do in university? Who are you going to be, or even where you're going to go? Adolescence is such a time of exhilarating highs and daunting lows. For me, these highs and lows came into my life in the form of badminton. For the longest time, I was convinced that badminton was my calling. You know, when you feel like you belong somewhere? I trained hard, spent countless hours on the court, and dreamt of winning championships. Then came the most important match of my life. I was confident, maybe even too confident. As the game progressed, I could feel my confidence fade and the pressure mount. I lost. And if that wasn't bad enough, that loss soon came with a broken leg in a completely new country. I was devastated. My hopes and dreams of glory all gone in an instant. But in that moment of defeat, I discovered something about myself. I discovered that my passion for badminton was real, but my identity wasn't solely tied to winning. That's when I figured out. Finding out who we are during these years is like playing a game of dress up in the world's most confusing wardrobe ever. Who am I? The artsy kid, the quiet philosopher, the shy type? Identity is fluid, and trying to pinpoint it can feel overwhelming. But I've found this exploration to be essential. Each role that we pretend to fit into tells us more about ourselves, our values, and our passions. Hold on now. The roller coaster is about to drop. The butterflies in your stomach, the heightened sense of danger, and even the nausea and pain that come along with it. People say it's supposedly normal. But wouldn't you consider bullying to be normal? Bullying is a tough one. I've been there and it sucks. Whether it's happening in school or online, it really hurts. Bullying creates this invisible pressure around us to fit in. I bet we've all felt pressured at some point of our life to act a certain way just to fit into those standard notions of society. I remember when I changed the way how I acted just to fit into a group of cool friends. But it didn't feel right. That's when I realized that fitting into an environment is your choice, but embracing your true self is what matters. Hold on tight now. The roller coaster is now going in a zigzag pattern. While not an incline anymore, the sharp turns and jerks of the road confuse you so as to who you are, confuse you so as to where you're going, and it's all moving so fast. Peer pressure works like that, jumping at you out of nowhere and changing your course without even realizing it. Peer pressure happens to everyone, and it creates this need to fit in. I remember when, in a group of friends, I pretended to be someone I was not. They were all into this certain kind of music, and I felt like I had the need to pretend to be into it too. I even started listening to it and made it my whole personality just to fit in. But that's when I realized your quirks and imperfections is what makes you who you are. I was self-conscious about some of my interests because I thought they weren't cool enough. But then I realized embracing those interests is what makes me me. It's what makes me so unique. Like the time I spent an entire summer learning how to break dance. Don't worry, I'm not going to subject you to a physical demonstration unless and until you have a first aid kit handy. Now the roller coaster comes to the inevitable part, the loop. You desperately want to stop yourself from going there, but when it happens, your stomach flips upside down. Such is teenage angst, another unavoidable part of this ride. Sometimes we might snap at our parents and friends and feel awful about it later. I know I've had my moments when I was incredibly rude to my mom, only to feel terrible about it later. But I've learned that this surfacing anger comes from the need to gain independence while still needing support. It puts you in a position where you're expected to act like an adult, but are still treated as a child. But in my experience, these outbursts of anger are essential in helping you find who you are and to deal with these complex emotions that are a part of growing up. Throughout the journey, we often initiate little embarrassing moments, like we scream a little too loudly or make awkward faces among a comedy of errors that defines us teenagers. From epic wardrobe malfunctions to tripping over your own feet in the hallway. These mistakes are bound to happen, but they're also a big part of what makes you you. So, let's embrace these mistakes and accept them, because these flaws are a part of yourself in your canvas. So remember, when you look into the mirror and you see something you don't like, accept them and embrace them, because those flaws are a part of your masterpiece and what makes you you. They're the brush strokes on the canvas of your identity. So, every time you see a flaw in yourself, hug it and tell it that, oh, you're a part of me and you'll stay a part of me. Now that the journey is coming to an end, how do you feel at the end of it all? Elated that the fear is finally over? Secure that you're on your 2 feet and in control? Or sad to see the adventure end so soon? It's exactly that confusing amalgam of fear, insecurity, thrill, and excitement that helps us to be more confident and grateful in every stride that we take after the journey. So, hold your confidence and take all the mistakes that you make and explore this journey. Throughout the ride, we often initiate little mistakes or funny moments. I know I've had my mess-ups when I've pretended to be someone I was not, but I also know that these mistakes are a part of growing up and what makes you you. So go into the world, make tons of mistakes, and find where you belong. It's okay to make mistakes because at the end of the day, they become something funny to laugh about when you've grown up. So, to all the teenagers out there, take each day as it comes, embrace the challenges, learn from it, and hug and fun out every mistake you make. So, to all the teenagers, you've got this. Challenges, awkward moments, and all. And to all the parents out there, we promise you we're not trying to drive you completely insane. It just sort of happens. Thank you.